Hello my beautiful hammerheads and welcome back to another Black Library review. This time it's Shadow of the Eighth by Justin D. Hill, a Minka Lesk novel. Okay, first of all, I love the character of Minka Lesk and this was an enjoyable read. There are a few problems here though. This sounds more mean, or not mean, but critical than the thought of it is. But let us start at the beginning. So we have, of course, Minka and her Cadian 101st under command of Lord Commander Benedict. And yeah, well, the story starts with her as a lieutenant. They are fighting, of course, against Chaos again, as this is now the story arc of the Cadians. Makes sense, it's enjoyable. And in her fighting, in the first few chapters, she encounters a Chaos Terminator. And she freezes and does not know what to do because it's a Chaos Terminator. But as they are not alone there, there are not of course, but there are Astartes of the Black Templars, because Black Templars are now everywhere. And yeah, well, she gets saved by a squad of 3. They melt her, the Terminator, to death. And she's just like, whoa, thank you, okay, and the Black Templars are gone. This was more of an, I don't know if it's an Easter egg or just a cameo. Like Stan Lee, it's just like, hi, we are Astartes, bye, and it's gone. So she goes there to look at the Chaos Terminator, and on his shoulder back banner rack thingy with all the spikes, she finds a certain relic. It is the banner of the Cadian 8th, the company of Urzaka E. Creed, the banner that Banner Sergeant Kell was carrying into battle. And so she, of course, brings it back, not believing what she's seeing. And the whole command staff are just like, where did you find this? What else did you see there? How did you kill a Chaos Terminator? And she's, I did not kill him. I froze. The Black Templars killed him. No one believes her. And she has to reiterate that story a couple of times, which is kinda, it's fitting. It makes sense that no one believes her, as many people question the appearance of the Black Templars, as no one knew what they were up to on that planet. The command staff, of course, knew of the Black Templars, but even those did not know what the Black Templars were up to. And it's just like, okay, we will try to communicate with them. So a couple of Black Templars come to them, talk about it a little bit, and then they're gone again. And then the more interesting part of the story begins, because they are trying to discern, is Creed still alive? We as readers know where he is. For those who don't know, Trazyn the Infinite, I don't know if it's rescuing or stealing him before Cadia was destroyed. Let us just say he was rescued by Trazyn the Infinite, and now he's in the archives of the Necrons. And yeah, but the Cadians don't know. And now the command staff is just like, what if Creed is still alive? The Black Templars just told us they were following these heretics from somewhere other. I already forgot where they found them. In some kind of ghost nebula or something, I already forgot, because it's not really that important. The planet itself is called Talcon's Rest, not Tolkien's Rest, which I at first misunderstood. Now everyone is in the thought process of the 8th were fighting, they are still alive. We found a sign. And so they go there. Oh yes, and this is 10 years after the breaking of the planet. So the Cicatrix Maledictum is pretty new still for them. And just so that you know where the timeline of all this is. As well, it's just regular humans in this story. Well, most of them. So on their way, she gets promoted. Now, this is not really a spoiler. First of all, if you look at the model, which is also a shame, I have to rant about this. Why is the model of Minka just available for 2 weeks or 3 weeks? I don't know, I don't care. This is such a disrespect, not only to Minka as a character, to her great story arc, but also to Justin D. Hill, who went into, I don't know, I'm just mad about it. It's like with Severina Rain, it's a female model in the 40k universe. Aren't those allowed in the Astra Militarum? Why is Severina Rain gone? And with Minka, it's going to be the same. She will be gone in about a week. I don't understand this. This makes me really mad. And yeah, because she gets recruited. She gets promoted to captain. And she's just like, I don't know how to be a captain. But she pushes through. The first thing she does is one of her favorite soldiers gets wounded. He loses his arm. As a lieutenant, she goes to the medicase, says, can he get an augmetic? I need him. He's one of my best fighters. And they're just like, was your best fighter? And she struggles with this a little bit as she really wants to help him as, yeah, well, she needs him. And as a captain, her first deed is, I have to go to the medicase. We need an augmetic replacement. He gets one, a really good one. I could talk so much about this, as the majority of the novel is not really politics, but with Minka coming to terms with her captaincy on command staff things. And there is not a lot of fighting in it, which I really enjoyed. There's just a little bit here and there. The majority of the things is, and I kinda have to spoil this to that everything makes sense. As they arrive on Talcon's Rest, so this traitor planet, they find signs of the Cadian 8th, of course, but also other things, as the whole planet, not the whole planet, but the main city they're defending has mines under it. And it's not the mines of Moria, but still kinda it is, because there are enemies there. It's not the Gene Stealer calls, it's really just chaos in this book, so don't get your hopes up for anything else. But as the command staff is so enthralled with the idea that Creed is still alive, that they have the opportunity to find him, they don't see what's really underneath their noses. And so Minka and a couple of other, not really captains, but lieutenants and other people are slowly and surely finding out, hey guys, something is wrong here. Because they're being reinforced by catechans and local PDFs. But it's really weird, and slowly but surely over the story, and that is the point I kinda have to spoil you, I'm sorry, but it will make sense, and it makes the story by far more interesting. They are being infiltrated by the Chaos followers, the cultists, as they still don't know who the enemy leader is. It's just a name, Draculzar, Draculsur, something like that. It doesn't really matter, as we know in the Black Library the majority of those novels, especially one that is so far behind on the timeline, which we could also say for the Dawn of Fire series. I just realized. That's so sad. But that's another topic. And yeah, so we have many moments in which one of the pilots on a routine scouting mission, not really scouting mission, it's just fly a little bit around, update the maps and come back. It's an hour job. You will be back before the tea gets cold or something like that. And on the flight, stuff happens which should not happen. Like the fuel lines were malfunctioning and he had to crash land his fighter and many other things. So it's really good. And all that time, the higher echelons of the command staff are still, we have to find Creed, we have to find Creed, to such an extent that they are not really there, which I loved, that they are so in these high hopes of finding Creed. So sadly, there isn't really much to talk about without spoiling anything. It is an enjoyable read. My only problem was that it seems that you could have told the story with lesser pages. It's a little bit too long. Nearly at the end, I spaced out a little bit as the fight scenes, the only major fight scene in this book, it was just too long. And it's really well written because as we don't want Minka to die and it's really well written. So that was not the problem because she's not really in the fight anymore, just a little bit here and there. As she is a captain, her main job is to send people here and there, which is great. I love those. I enjoyed those parts, as it is more like an RTS, basically, so she's playing Dawn of War. And this had more of the vibes of the Lieutenant in Space Marine 1. I want more of those. It was just too long. Of course, there was fighting here and there. You saw other people, of course. The new characters were introduced, which were really enjoyable. One of the lieutenants had a great record in the Cadians. His family records were really good, but he was a douchebag. And even though he was a douchebag, he was an enjoyable read, as Minka was always like putting him a little bit down, and sometimes she made fun of him and his mustache. Not sometimes, only once, but yeah. And of course other reoccurring characters. But all in all, I don't know. It was enjoyable, as I've said. The only time I spaced out only once, as the fighting was just too long. The parts in which we saw the point of view of the enemies in the story were a little bit too sparse. It wasn't enough. I wish we could have seen a little bit more of those. But the thing here is, it really gives us a glimpse of Minka's future. As I really, really hope that we get a new novel and hopefully a miniature that will stay and not be thrown out after 2 weeks, which still makes me mad. But I believe she won't be staying a captain. We will see more of her career in the Astra Militarum, and I'm here for that. And even though it might have sounded more critical, I, as I've said, enjoyed this book. So all in all, this is, and it's not on purpose, an 8 out of 10 companies which not survived on Cadia. I don't know, I don't have anything witty to say with the numerical right now. It's enjoyable. If you're an Astra Militarum fan, read this. It's really good. As a Minka fan, it's also really, really good. And I want more of this. It's just a little bit too long. It's too much bread for just a small amount of butter you want to spread on it. Yes, I changed the quote. But these are just my thoughts. Please leave your thoughts and questions in the comment section down below. I am keen to know what you have to say. And while you're down there, do all the YouTube stuff because hitting buttons is fun. If you want to support the channel and you don't know what to say, just write Cadia Stance in the comments. Have a great day, my friend. Stay fantastic. Stay hydrated. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.